Hi, this is Mr. Bo from MrBoEnglish.com, and we've been doing quadratics in Khan Academy and showing you how to work those, give you a little walkthrough. We're going to start a new lesson, quadratics by factoring, and this is not very difficult because we really already we did the zero product property and in factored form, plus we haven't done videos on them, but if you're at this point in the course, you should have gotten through factoring already, and you should know how to factor. So really, we're just taking those two skills and we're putting together. We're taking how to factor and then what to do with factored form, and we're putting them together. And we know both those skills, so this one should be pretty easy for you guys. Let's get started. Okay, so solve for x. I'm going to use my scratch pad over here. X squared minus 14x plus 49. So you'll remember from factoring, I want factors of 14. I want factors of 49 that add up to negative 14. Mr. Bo does not remember his factoring, apparently. Yeah, I've been making videos and doing stuff and then watching it harder than you'd think. So 49, I really have 1 times 49, and I have negative 1 times negative 49, and I have 7 times 7, and I have negative 7 times negative 7. And there's the factors, and the adding up is 50 and negative 50. 50 and negative 50 and 14 and negative 14. So we want negative 14, so these are our two. And then that means that we come out to x minus 7 times x minus 7 is equal to 0. And from our zero property, we know either x minus 7 is equal to 0 or x minus 7 is equal to 0. So we know x is equal to 7. Okay? So there we go. That's our first one. How many do we have on this one? It's not going to tell me until I go forward, I guess. Okay. Let's hope that the Khan starts working. Khan hasn't been working for me today. All right, here's our second question. Our second question: x minus 14x plus 40 equals 0. So we'll solve for x. Write the smaller solution first and the larger solution second. So we've got x squared minus 14x plus 40 is equal to 0. So we want factors of 40 that add up to negative 14. Negative 14 looks the same, but 40 is going to make all the numbers down here different. So let's see, we've got 1 and 20 and 1 and 40 and negative 1 and negative 40 and 2 and 20 and negative 2 times negative 20, and we've got 4 times 10 and negative 4 times negative 10, and I've got 5 times 8 and negative 5 times negative 8, and only one of these is going to add up to negative 14, and that's this one here. Negative 4 plus negative 10 is negative 14. I could add the others up, but I won't do that. Okay, so now I have x minus 4 times x minus 10 is equal to 0. So from our zero product property, I know that means that x minus 4 is equal to 0 or x minus 10 is equal to 0. And so I know x is equal to 4 or I know x is equal to 10. I'm going to go ahead and plug 4 back in there to make sure that works. 4 squared is 16. 4 times 14 is 56. plus 40 equals 0. Okay, so 4 is correct. So I probably got that one right. Just do a quick check. Always do a quick check. So ask me to write the smaller number first. Smaller number here is 4, and the larger number here is 10. Okay. Again, quadratics by factoring. Okay, so we're going to solve by factoring. X squared minus 2x plus 1, so that means we want the factors of 1 that add up to negative 2, and those are going to be negative 1 times negative 1, or 1 times 1, and that's negative 1 times negative 1. So we have x minus 1 squared equals 0, or x minus 1 equals 0, or x equals 1. Let's add that back in to make sure. X squared is 1 minus 2 plus 1, that's 0. Okay, so our solution, and we only have one solution this time, is 1. And our last problem here, solve for x. Write the smaller solution first and write the larger solution second. So I have x squared plus x minus 42 equals 0. So I want factors of negative 42 that add up to be plus 1. And so let's see, I've got negative 7 times 6. I've got negative 6 times 7. I've got 2 times negative 21. I've got negative 2 times 21. I've got 3 times negative 14. I've got negative 3 times 14, and I've got 1 times negative 42, and I've got negative 1 times 42. I think that may be all of them. But our answer here, which is going to add up to 1, is this one right here. So we have x minus 6 times x plus 7 is equal to 0. And that means x minus 6 equals 0, or x plus 7 is equal to 0, and that's a 7. Alright, so x is equal to 6, or x is equal to negative 7. I'm going to put in the negative 7 because that's probably the one. Negatives are always where I make mistakes. So negative 7 squared is 49, minus 7 minus 42, and that is equal to 0. Okay, so it looks good. And we want the smaller x. The smaller one is the negative 1. And larger one is the positive one. Alright, so that was quick and easy. The rest of the stuff in this lesson is also not going to be too difficult. The factoring will be a little bit harder, but not going to be that bad, because we know how to factor and we know how to do zero product property. And this is just, like I said, putting those two together. Factor, and then do zero product property. All right. If you have any other questions, please visit us at mrboenglish.com. Thank you. Mr. Bo English รับสอนนักเรียนตั้งแต่ป .3 ขึ้นไปทางอินเทอร์เน็ตในสไตล์ EP ครับผู้สนใจช่วยติดต่อครูแจงหรือไปเว็บไซต์ที่ www.mrboenglish.com